أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم عالم الغيب فلا يظهر على غيبه أحدا إلا من ارتضى من رسول فإنه يسلك من بين يديه ومن خلفه رصدا.
Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This video is in response to an allegation against the prophecies of Hazrat Ahmad alayhi salam. We have to remember that when it comes to prophecies of prophets, some are conditional while others are unconditional. Let us first see some of the prophecies of Hazrat Ahmad alayhi salam of Qadian. Allah revealed to the promised Messiah alayhi salam that I shall carry your message to the ends of the earth. Now this is not a small prophecy. It is from the late 1890s, and we have to remember that at this time many Muslim scholars were opposing the promised Messiah alayhi salam. Some were even discussing to murder him, God forbid. But Allah promised the promised Messiah alayhi salam that I will protect you and cause you to die a natural death, which is another fulfilled prophecy. Apart from this, people of all major religions were against the promised Messiah alayhi salam, and it was their plan to erase Ahmadiyya from the face of the earth. But reason on faith, look at the progress of Ahmadiyya today. Can you dare claim that this prophecy failed? The next prophecy is from April 6, 1885. Allah revealed to Hazrat Ahmad alayhi salam, the devotees of Syria and the servants of Allah from among the Arabs are supplicating on your behalf. The lands of Syria and Arabia bear testimony to the truth of this revelation. Many communities of the Jamaat have been established there and are supporting the mission of the promised Messiah alayhi salam, and they continue to invoke blessings on him.
رحمة للعالمين نرفع الراية عزا بدر منير زاهر في كل وصف حمد إحسانه يصبي القلوب وحسنه يروي الصدى الظالمون بظلمهم قد كذبوه تمردا والحق لا يسعى الورى إنكاره. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أنا لينا عثمان جاي من سوريا، عمري 9 سنين. حبيت أهديك هاو الصور أنا وأختي رسمنا لك ياهم.
कहते हैं कि मैं सीरिया से हूँ, 9 साल मेरी उम्र है। मैं हुजूर की खिदमत में तस्वीरें पेश करना चाहती हूँ जो मैंने बनाई।
अच्छा, दाव दे दो।
अल्लाह तफद्दल।
आ जाओ। अच्छा।
The next prophecy refers to the Langar Khana, which is also not a small prophecy.
In 1874, the promised Messiah ﷺ saw in a dream a most beautiful young boy about 7 years of age. In his dream, the promised Messiah ﷺ looked upon him as an angel. He was sitting on a raised platform, which was also perhaps covered. The boy gave the promised Messiah ﷺ a most delicious and luminous naan. It was 4 times the ordinary size. While handing it to the promised Messiah ﷺ, the angel said, "Take this, it is for you and the dervishes who are with you." This was a most significant dream. It prophesied an ever-expanding institution, the Langar Khana, established by the promised Messiah himself under divine command in Qadian for the benefit of all who came to him. Today it is that same Langar, established by the promised Messiah ﷺ, that is still in operation to serve the blessed guests of Jalsa Salana.
The next prophecy was witnessed by many. Hazrat Ahmad had prophesied that Allah would grant a son to the first Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Hazrat Ahmad states, "God revealed to me that Maulvi Hakim Nuruddin Sahib would be granted another son, and that this son would later develop boils all over his body as a proof that he is indeed the one who was born as a result of my prayers." This is exactly what happened. A short while after this prophecy, a son was born to Maulvi Sahib and was given the name Abdul Hai. Shortly after his birth, he developed many boils over his body, the marks of which can still be seen on him. God created those boils on his body so that nobody would think that the birth of the son was the result of a coincidence and not the result of prayers, or that this was not a conclusive proof of the fulfillment of my prophecy. The next prophecy refers to a book of Hazrat Ahmad called Ijazul Masih. Hazrat Ahmad states, "I had received a revelation relating to my book Ijazul Masih that he who sets out to write a reply will soon find that he is filled with remorse and has come to a sorry end." Explaining this prophecy, the promised Messiah mentions the case of a person who tried to reply to this book. He states that Muhammad Hassan Faizi made a public announcement that he would write a reply to my book. After making such a tall claim, when he started compiling his notes and with reference to some of the verities that I had set out in my book, he called down the curse of Allah upon liars. He perished soon thereafter.
اسمعوا صوت السماء جاء المسيح جاء المسيح.
I have only mentioned a few prophecies out of the thousands of prophecies made by Hazrat Ahmad ﷺ. Whether we speak of the end of Laikram or the end of Alexander Dowie, or we speak about the plague and the protection granted to Hazrat Ahmad and his community, or we speak about the earthquakes, there are thousands of prophecies, and one can refer to the book called Tazkira to read about them. What shocked me most was that Reason on Faith got his allegations on the prophecies of Hazrat Ahmad from a lady named Nuzhat Hanif, who had left the Jamaat and learned everything about Ahmadiyyat from the anti-Ahmadi clerics, who of course lie about our literature and take things out of context. The least I expected from Reason on Faith is that perhaps he may have read some books of the promised Messiah ﷺ, but I doubt he has even read Haqiqatul Wahi, which is all about prophecies. Reason on Faith loves to say that his allegations are not answered. Let me give him the good news that Hazrat Ahmad ﷺ answered this allegation himself over 100 years ago. Hazrat Ahmad ﷺ states, "Nor is there a promise of God that my age will necessarily exceed 80 years. Rather, the hope implied in the words in the revelation of God is that if God so desires, my age could even somewhat exceed 80 years. The actual words of the revelation that pertain to this promise, however, fixed the age between 74 and 86. In any case, it is a false allegation against me that I have not defined the time limit for this prophecy at all. God says again and again in this revelation that we shall demonstrate this sign for you. When we calculate the age of the promised Messiah ﷺ, he lived up to 76 Hijri years, which shows that the prophecy was fulfilled. He was born on the 14th of Shawwal, 1250 Hijri, or the 13th of February 1835, and he passed away on the 24th of Rabiul Sani, 1326 Hijri, which is May 26, 1908. Even the opponents of promised Messiah ﷺ had to accept that this prophecy was fulfilled. Maulvi Sanaullah stated, Mirza Sahib has said his demise would be near 80 years of age, and perhaps he has fulfilled all of those conditions. Muhammad Hussain Batalvi wrote, he is already 63 years of age, and this was written in 1893.
بلغ العلا بكماله كشف الدجى بجماله